So welcome everybody to this Sunday program. And so, is there any new faces today? Anybody not been before? So we'll make it a little bit visitor friendly today, because we're chanting all these mantras, and unless we're conversant with this process, nobody's got a clue what they're about. So, but the Hare Krishna mantra is well known, or more known anyway. So I was going to chant there's a prayers called the Radha Madhava prayers, but they're not everybody knows that, so I'll chant the Hare Krishna mantra instead, and then everybody can understand it. Is that okay? So and then we do a talk. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're going to read from the Bhagavad Gita. And this is from the from the 4th chapter, and this chapter is entitled Transcendental Knowledge. So what's transcendental knowledge? So there's knowledge of this world. This is called material knowledge. This is the world that we see around us and we experience every day, and the people in it we actually interact with. So there's so much, education is a big thing nowadays, is that right? We must get educated. And so that education lasts us for this lifetime, is that right? I'll let everybody find a place first. Right? Has everybody got the page? It's in mine, in the brown one, the brown book, it's page 192.
Which verse is
193.
Chapter 11, verse? Chapter 4. Chapter 4. Which verse? Which verse?
Chapter 4, text 11. So we won't be doing the full, recital of the verse because so I'll just personally, I'll just recite the Sanskrit. You don't have to follow. Just let me recite the Sanskrit, and then I'll read through everything, and then we can start the talk. Is that okay? It's important to recite, but I think for the Sunday program it's good to maybe miss all the things that we do in the morning out to some degree, and then it becomes more relevant to visitors. That's one opinion. So Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Manam Pashritaha Bahavo Janma Tapasa Putamad Bhavam Agataha. So translation: being freed from attachment, fear and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. Eh? Yes, it's 10. Just testing, that's all. Yeah, it's 10. So here Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita, and he's enlightening Arjuna in the subject of transcendental knowledge. So what is transcendental knowledge? We asked this question earlier. So we said knowledge of this material world is one type of knowledge that we see every day. There's so many educational establishments nowadays. But what's the difference between transcendental knowledge and material knowledge? Is that material knowledge lasts us for this lifetime. And transcendental knowledge goes beyond this lifetime. We're not the body is just a machine to house a life force within the body, which is the person. And so therefore, due to close identification with this external, we become convinced that we're the body. And then all our activities are based around maintaining this body, maintaining relationships with the body, and so we lead a lifetime on external consciousness, and then at some point it's all finished. We lead a lifetime building things up, and then all of a sudden it's gone forever. So it's just like building sandcastles in the sand. We see young children at the seaside. They're completely absorbed. Parents as well. And, they build these nice castles, and then after some time the tide comes in, it's all finished. So this is material knowledge. So we need material knowledge to function in this world, but, basics. Not that we become too absorbed in it, because then we lose the thread of the real goal of life. And so now we're talking about this chapter of Bhagavad Gita is transcendental knowledge. That knowledge which helps us to transcend this material conception and to understand our real nature, which is beyond this temporary body and which lasts us forever, eternity. We're not the body, we're the soul. And the nature of the soul is that it's actually Sat, Chit and Ananda. Sat means it's eternal. Chit means we're full of cognizance, we have full knowledge. We understand our real position as an eternal living entity and that eternal relationship with the supreme living entity, Krishna. So this is knowledge. And Ananda means, because we're actually reciprocating with the source of all pleasure, then we actually experience pleasure. Why are we reciprocating? We're reciprocating so that we can, feel some satisfaction. Everybody, that's the nature of the soul. Ananda Maya Bhyasat, we're always looking for that, and we always will. But like we said, everything's temporary, so can we experience happiness knowing that everything we work for is going to be finished at some point? So this is the big anxiety in this world, is that we don't think about it often, but it's there in the back of the mind that, I have to look sharp. Is that the word? I have to look sharp. I shouldn't waste time. I should completely absorb myself and get as much out of this world while I can. What does Shakespeare say about that? He says something about something today, for tomorrow we die. What's the first part? Anyway, I think we all get the message. Today, do you know? No? Okay, so, everything's finished. So there's a deep anxiety in everybody's heart. And no matter what we get, we may have the most beautiful spouse. We may have the, unlimited wealth. Anything else which satisfies. We may have the, for the time being, we may have perfect health. But if you ask anybody who's got these things, they say, and they're on it, are you really happy? Well, not really. I was just reading, I'm still reading it, I'm up onto the last part. It's, what do they call it? Here Comes the Sun. It's a book a book about George Harrison. And George Harrison, he finished up being a very spiritual person. But in his early life, he was born in Liverpool, and Liverpool wasn't known as being the best of all cities. It was really rough. And then he had a dream. When he was about 8 years old, his mother bought him a guitar. He was really into music. And so he used to practice on this guitar. And he thought he'd never actually be successful. It was just too difficult. But his mother kept pushing him. Don't worry, just keep practicing. Eventually you'll be able to do it. And then he became proficient. And about the age of 14, I think it was, or 15, he met, guess who? Paul McCartney. He met him on the bus going to school. And they were actually formed a band. And they invited him for an audition. He went with his guitar and he played in front of the other group, members of the group, and he was accepted. But for 4 years, they were playing in this place, that place, and it was really low class, places they were playing. But he had this longing desire to really be successful and really be famous. And then inside, I think it was about 3 months, everything came to be. They had one hit record, they went to the top of the charts, they were being asked to go to so many places, there were thousands of people queuing up to see them in 3 months. And then they brought another hit record, and then the crowd increased. And then another hit record, about 3 or 4 hit records in 1963. And all of a sudden his life completely changed. And he was in ecstasy. He was playing what he wanted to do. He was playing music, and he's got all the acclaim that he hoped he would get. There were thousands upon thousands of people cheering. And this went on for a year, and then they were invited to the United States. They'd really made it big. If you get an audition or you get to play there, and maybe you've seen these newsreel videos of what it was like. Has anybody seen those? Yeah, there were so many people in this stadium, and they were screaming so loud. There was like 60,000 people screaming at the top of their voice, and they couldn't hear themselves play their own instruments. So now they'd made it. Yeah. But then after a few months they were thinking, my God, this is hell. There were so many people waiting for them outside. They couldn't go out of their room. Basically, they just couldn't go anywhere. And then when they went out of the room, one place they got an armoured car. And 100 policemen on each side. And they had to be escorted into the armoured car to take them to the next. This is what sort of life they had. They were actually trapped. And then, the fame turned to disgust. And then, after another year or two of that, they realised that what I've got is not where it's at. We have money, we have na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. In Sanskrit this means we have dhanam, we have wealth, millions and millions. Na janam, we have followers, millions and millions. Sundarim, we have, everywhere they go there's young girls wanting to meet them. They had everything. So, ironically enough, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he's Krishna. He appeared 500 years ago, specifically to teach us about transcendental knowledge, that he understood where people were at. George Harrison came to that point where they started looking for a spiritual alternative. And they went to India, and eventually he came across the founder of this movement, Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada explained to him about the principles of spiritual life, and immediately he could understand. And he actually even intimated that, I'll join the Hare Krishna movement if you want. And Srila Prabhupada said, no, you can actually do more by staying in your present position and writing more songs. And by your spiritual activities, you'll attract people to you, and they will be attracted to spiritual life. And so that's when a big change appeared in his life, when he stopped. Actually, not long after that, the Beatles separated. And he started writing his own songs with spiritual lyrics. Some of them are hidden. We can't understand what he's singing about, but he's singing about the soul's relationship with the Supreme Lord. And here comes the sun is one of them. This transcendental knowledge is like the sun. Have you ever noticed when the sun comes out everybody feels like enlivened. Wow, that's better. Get some sun. And also, when the sun comes out, all the darkness is dissipated. So this is transcendental knowledge. The darkness of the material world means we're focused on the things that we see around us, so much so that we think there's nothing else. So when the ordinary sun comes, there's light. When the sun of God consciousness or Krishna consciousness starts to pervade our existence, then we can understand a higher dimension. And then the attraction to this world starts to become diminished. First of all, it comes through disgust, that we're not able to enjoy what we want to enjoy, even if we get it. Frustration. And if sometimes we become greedy for more, I'll have to increase it. If I increase it, then the enjoyment will come. Is that right? We just have to increase it. But it doesn't work. You ask anybody and they'll say it's not working. So George Harrison then took to spiritual life, and I'm on the book on the part of the book where he's stopped actually performing and he's concentrating on himself. He's starting to really concentrate on chanting this Maha mantra, preparing for the last stage of his life. And it was actually a few years later he left this world in, I think it was 2002, was it? So just we can see a little bit of intelligence, and just especially this role model of success and ultimate success, temporary material success, which led to ultimate success. Our real success in life is that we start to develop that long-lost relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But here, I've already mentioned them in this verse, there are 3 things which stop us from going forward. Would you like to know what they are? So, I'll read the translation again. Being freed from attachment, fear and anger. Being completely absorbed in me, taking refuge in me, many persons became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. What does purified mean? Like when we put, water through, we boil water, the steam comes and it becomes condensed, that's called purified water. And then all the impurities are taken out. So we're naturally pure, but our attachment with this world has made us impure in that we're trying to enjoy something which is not enjoyable. Like when it rains, they said the rain is distilled water, it's been evaporated, it's pure. But then when it falls, as soon as it hits the ground, it's impure. So as soon as we absorb ourselves in this world, we become contaminated by an impure consciousness. So the process of yoga is meant to purify the heart of all these impurities. People practice for, what do they practice for? Health, big one, health. Then we want to become the best yogi. We sit in the best position. So pride may be there. Any other benefits of yoga? You can walk on water. Hands up who wants to walk on water. Nobody. Don't be shy. What else? What else can a yogi do? He can go through a keyhole. He can get out of a room. He can become smaller than the smallest. He can become bigger than the biggest. He can fly. He can walk. He becomes an anima siddhi. All these are different siddhis. But and he can actually create a whole planet if he becomes expert. This is the power of mystic yoga. But these are side effects. They're not the real thing. They're like child's play. Just like big children trying to enjoy something bigger than small toys, big toys, that's all. The real goal of yoga is to, yoga means to link with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In a loving relationship. We all have loving relationships to some degree. Is that right? There's different types of friendship. There's, what's it called now? There's 3 types of friendship. There's Maitra. What's the most basic? Bandhu. Do you know Bandhu? Bandhu means general friendship, like friendship with the police force, you know. It's not like that we necessarily want to be friendly with the police force, but, you know, we know that if we're not, we might get in trouble. So it's like our friendliness with the employer. You know, it's strained, is it? Might be strained a little bit. So this is Bandhu. So Krishna is Dina Bandhu. Dina means he's a friend of the conditioned soul. But it's general. We hear about it, we know about it, but it's not really friendship, is it? Then there's next one is Maitra. So Maitra means that it's more intimate. We have a relationship with those who are close to us, like family. And then eventually there's Surit. Surit friendship. That means that we appreciate that actually we don't have to go anywhere for friendship, that Krishna's in the heart. He's in the heart of all living entities. He can understand, he's in our consciousness, he can understand everything about us. And he's residing there to just, you know, analyze our mentality, to try and direct us in the right way. And so he says he's also fulfilling all our desires and directing our material desires if we desire them. But he personally wants us to develop this spiritual desire. And then Krishna starts to direct us in a spiritual way. It's imperceptible how it happens. And when we look back, if we start to practice this spiritual journey, then we start to see that Krishna's intervention has been there all the time. And he's trying to help us to overcome these 3 obstacles. Attachment's first one. We'll read the purport. As described above, it is very difficult for a person who is too materially affected to understand the personal nature of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Generally, people who are attached to the bodily conception of life are so absorbed in materialism that it is almost impossible for them to understand how the Supreme can be a person. Such materialists cannot even imagine that there is a transcendental body which is imperishable, full of knowledge, and eternally blissful. In the material concept, the body is perishable, full of ignorance, and completely miserable. Therefore, people in general keep this same bodily idea in mind when they are informed of the personal form of the Lord. For such materialistic men, the form of the gigantic material manifestation is supreme, Consequently, they consider the Supreme to be impersonal, and because they are too materially absorbed in the conception of retaining the personality after liberation from after liberation from matter, when they are informed of the spiritual life, it is also individual and personal, they become afraid. So this is this fear of becoming a person again. And so they naturally prefer a kind of merging into the impersonal void. So one thing is that material, why would one not to take another birth? Why would one not to actually come back to this material world and have another bash? Have another bash. You know, I was thinking, oh yes, another bash. I'll try again. But actually, people who are a little bit intelligent, I'll tell you, I was on Sankirtan. Sankirtan means distributing transcendental knowledge, in short. And I was distributing books. It happened often, actually. And, you know, some people had taken interest, and you'd give them a book and start talking to them. They'd start asking questions. Okay, what is the soul? You explain what is the soul. So, you know, how does the soul live in this body? Explain that. We're not the body, we're the soul. What happens to the soul when this body is finished or dies? We get another body, and they go, oh, no. And, you know, you ask them, and why are they saying that? Because they're experiencing too much pain. I've heard it from many people. So, you know, material life's painful. And so a lot of people, it takes a bit of raised consciousness. Most people are just into trying to enjoy this world. So that's one form. But when we become a little bit disgusted with it, like George Harrison did, when we realise that actually I'm not really going to get anything out of this world. I've tried so many times, I'm just going to repeat what I'm repeating, and the same things are going to happen. If you carry on doing the same thing, you can't expect a different result. So then they start to become inquisitive. But because material life is so painful, and they start hearing about a personal existence after this spiritually, they think it's going to be like this existence. And so they prefer to try and understand the impersonal aspect of reality. So this is the expansion of the Supreme Personality of God. This form emits transcendental existence or transcendental light. And this is called a Brahma Jyoti, and they try to merge into the existence of the Lord light. Or the Buddhists, a little bit even worse, the Buddhists, nirvana, merge into the nothingness. Does that sound interesting? Does that sound something you could really look forward to? It's like, you know, you've got a headache, so you chop your head off. You know, same thing. But, you know, real transcendental knowledge means there's life. But it's difficult to actually... And even when we start to practice spiritual life, we've still got that doubt that it'll be, you know, something worth actually trying to obtain. And so, by the practice of devotional service, and by hearing about the process, the spiritual world, we start to appreciate the spiritual world properly. And then we can become enlivened about being that. What was spiritual? You know, when we talk about spiritual, everybody's got a different idea. Would anybody like to say what spiritual means? You know, when you mentioned spiritual, before I started practicing this process, I thought it was like a ghost or something, you know, an evil spirit. I thought, I don't want to be spiritual. So what is spiritual? It's spiritual actually means that I use a thing to actually develop my relationship with Krishna. That's spiritual. This material world, when it's used in a progressive way to serve the Supreme Lord, it's a spiritual activity. When it's used to serve myself personally without reciprocating with Krishna, then it's a material activity. So they don't want to reciprocate. So that fear has to be overcome. What's another fear? What's another obstacle? We said attachment. Attachment was the first one. We didn't deal with attachment so much. We dealt with fear. So attachment means that we're so habituated to doing the same things that it's difficult to change. When, you know, spiritual activity may require a little change, but not much. But still, that change is like difficult to practice. So a bird in the hand is worth, can anybody complete? A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. So, you know, at least I've got something here. I don't know about there. I'll stick with what I've got, you know. So people remain in material consciousness, and they keep trying to enjoy that which has already been enjoyed by many people many times. Does anybody know a singer called Lonnie Donegan? You've heard of him. So this was a long time ago. He was it wasn't jazz, was it? It was like a cross between jazz and rock music. And he wrote one song, "Does chewing gum lose its flavour on the bedpost overnight?" So, you know, some people, they chew chewing gum and then they take it out, they put it on the bedpost, and they go to bed, and then they come up, they put it back in their mouth. Yeah. But, you know, it's like, you know, there's no taste in it. It's completely, I couldn't think of anything more dull, you know, maybe cardboard. Cardboard's close. But chewing gum, you know, you just, it just gives you joy. So this is like trying to enjoy this material world. You know, it's all we've got, but carry on. I had a boss at work, he said, it's a grand life if you don't weaken. In other words, you've just got to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and then, you know, you forget about, you know, how much of a hard time you're having. Am I painting a pessimistic a picture as well? I'm sorry if I am. No, I'm trying to actually, what I'm doing actually, I'm going back to what I used to experience. You know, I was really into everything. And at some point I started to realise that it's not working. So I'm just giving my own experience. I'm not knocking this material world. It's just like my experience, that's all. And then the last one is anger. Anger. Has anybody come across anger? All the time. Where does anger come from? There's one materialistic person, he was a doctor. He said it comes from the navel. It comes from the navel. He says, what you have to do, this therapist says, as soon as you start feeling some rumbling, you know, in a relationship, then you should stop it there. Just meditate on it and keep it there. Okay? But if you leave it, it starts to agitate, and then it starts to come up. And it starts to come here. Has anybody noticed that when you become angry? Have you been analytical? You may not notice it in the navel, because that's pretty, what do you call it? It's pretty subtle. But when the chest becomes agitated, and then where else? It comes up here, doesn't it? Up to the throat, and then whoo, it's out. And then once it comes out, the eyes become red. And the person's visage, is that the right word? Visage? A person's physiognomy changes. And we can see, oh, he's angry. So where does it come from? It comes beyond the navel. What's beyond the navel? If he says it comes from the navel, Bhagavad Gita says it comes from somewhere else. Mind. The mind. That's a good answer. So everything starts in the mind. The mind focuses on something. We meditate on it. We become attracted to it. This is a thinking process. Then the willing process. Thinking, feeling. We start to have a feel for that particular situation. So we think we're focusing, we're actually thinking. Now we're feeling what it would be like, and then I'm willing. Then, okay, we buy into it, we want to do it. So everything starts with the mind. So if the mind is educated properly, we'll know what to actually aspire for and what to avoid. What the result of aspiring for this will bring, what the result of aspiring. So this is called the mode of goodness. Knowledge means goodness. So this is the beginning of transcendental knowledge. So we act on... So controlling the mind by intelligence. We can control the mind by our intelligence and when we're educated in spiritual life. But still, attachment's still there. I'm still attached. I understand the process, so, the attachment of anger is now starting to be dissipated. Fear, due to knowledge. Switch the lights on, we see everything for what it is. We're not frightened. The lights of transcendental knowledge are there. But there's still fear. But, we're still attached. There's still attachment. Fear's gone. We're still attached to material enjoyment. So how to get rid of this attachment? The mind has to be controlled. All yoga processes are controlling the mind. The Ashtanga yoga, the eightfold process, is to control the mind ultimately. Then we can focus. And then we're practicing. Then we can take to Bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is actually the real yoga. All of the yogas lead to this point of Bhakti yoga. If we become a successful Ashtanga yogi, then we can understand that Krishna is in the heart, as we said earlier. But we may not understand who Krishna is or our relationship with him. So it's explained that at that point we need the association of a bhakta or a bhakti yogi. So this process of bhakti yoga is being practiced by this movement. And it starts with the highest process of controlling the mind, which is mantra meditation. Mantra means mind. Mantra. Tra means to deliver, transport, transcend. It all comes out from this root Sanskrit word tra. Man means mind, mantra. So when we chant an appropriate mantra, we can actually bring the mind from material absorption and we can absorb it in the focus of the mantra. And so this Hare Krishna mantra we was chanting is called the Maha mantra, or the Supreme mantra. And if we focus on this Hare Krishna Maha mantra, then we can actually control the mind and focus it on the service of Krishna. It's as simple as that. If we become expert in focusing on hearing this sound vibration, then we become fixed in transcendental consciousness. And then attachment, fear and anger start to melt away. Yeah?
Maharaj, can you please repeat after Ashtanga Yoga, when you started Bhakti Yoga? Please, can you repeat the whole thing, please?
Ashtanga Yoga culminates in being absorbed in the Supersoul in the heart, or Krishna. But sometimes the yogi may misidentify who the Supersoul is, and he becomes an impersonalist because he thinks he is the Supersoul, and he starts to merge into the existence of the Supersoul. This is very technical due to that absorption. But if he has the association of a devotee, he can teach in the process of service to God. And then he understands that he's serving the Supersoul. So that can be achieved straight away by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra from day one. This is we're not capable of practicing this process of Ashtanga Yoga and perfecting it. So the bottom line here is that attachment, fear and anger, any obstacles to the path of making progress in spiritual life can be overcome by taking shelter of this chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha mantra. This is what George Harrison did. And he became fixed in this process. So we should understand that real life is spiritual life. The only reason this body is worth anything is because the soul's there. Without the spiritual touch, nothing is actually valuable. But when we put Krishna in the equation, then everything becomes very valuable. And so, not a lot of people know that. Who said that? Not a lot of people know that. A very famous actor. You don't know. You know, Michael Caine. Probably most people don't know who that is, you know. But he used to say, not a lot of people know that, you know, in his Cockney lilt. And so our position is that a lot of people should know that, because this is the aim of human life. If people come to this human form of life and think it's just meant for enjoying the body, then this is called the animal platform. The animals can do that. You know, they can, you know, have a family, they can have sex, they can eat, they can sleep, they can defend themselves. So what are we doing any different? We've got the Rolls-Royce edition. This means that we've got the intelligence to question and to reason and to discriminate. And that discrimination is meant to come to the point of understanding what our real nature is and then acting on that nature. So as a movement, those who are regular devotees, it's explained by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Pritiviti Nagaradigram Sarvachar Pachara Haibe Moranam. Everybody who takes their birth and becomes a devotee, especially those who have the full facility of practicing from birth, usually that means we take birth in India, then they should be very seriously perfect their own life by this chanting. And at the same time, they should give that transcendental process to others. So that's the whole purpose of this movement. The whole purpose of this movement is to become Krishna conscious and give it. Krishna conscious and give it. And so when we do that, we're actually enlivened. Krishna's so pleased. Krishna's in the heart. Pleasure comes from the heart. Bhagavad Gita says, to one who explains this secret to the devotees or to the general populace, pure devotional service is guaranteed. There's no one more dear to me than he. So we're very serious leaders here. They're working very, very hard. They're working 5 days a week. You know, there's probably no spare hours. Morning time chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Full work, come home 6, 7 o'clock at night, doing a little bit of backup work for the temple. 5 days a week. Then Saturday, shopping. Or, you know, or other things which they couldn't do in the week. Sunday, full program here for the benefit of society. So, you know, like Vraj Kumar, he's doing all the things that he shouldn't do. He's having to clean up after everybody's gone. He's having to prepare things before they come, clean the temple. This is a leader. Then everybody comes, listens to a kirtan, listens to a lecture, and then takes some succulent prasadam, and I'll see you next week. So we should do more. We should do more. We should give time. Some of us may be inclined to go out and chant the Hare Krishna mantra for the benefit of others, to distribute books. This is not an easy thing to actually to think about doing. That's okay if we're a little bit timid, those who are brave enough to do that. But let's give those people time, or the devotees time, who want to do that. Let's take this burden off them at the temple. Yeah? Every Sunday, if we come a little earlier, we can do a little bit. If we come a little bit earlier, we can. Now the devotees are just coming back from Market Street in the centre of Manchester. They've had a book table, and I don't need to do any chanting on Sunday, but that can be changed. But there's a book table there. We just have to stand there. If anybody comes, we give them a book. What's the difficulty? We've been given a priceless commodity. We should share it with others. So this should be our ethos. Any questions? Any comments?
Prabhuji, can you explain the devotional service?
Chant Hare Krishna. If we actually, there was one really advanced devotee who used to come to England. He was He was, in his 70s last time I saw him, and so I got the opportunity to serve him. And when he gave class, he'd been a Sanskrit scholar. He'd been the head of a Sanskrit college all his life. And he'd been celibate all his life. He was born in a devotee family. So his qualifications were first class. He could give so many erudite classes on the Shastras. Unbelievable. But when he gave class, what did he give the class on? The holy name. And he used to say at the end of the class, there's only Naam Prabhu. There's only the holy name. In other words, that's devotional service. Why? Because we're personally speaking to Krishna. It's a prayer. Okay, please engage me in your service. I've been serving myself and so many other people for so long, and I'm still not satisfied. So I want to serve you. Then we'll be satisfied. But the whole philosophy is that we're so messed up, with so many different concepts of what's reality, that we need to understand, we have to keep hearing the philosophy of life, what the reality is, and then so that it becomes practical to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Otherwise we chant in Hare Krishna mantra, what am I chanting this for, We soon forget. That's all. Devotional service means hearing about Krishna, speaking about Krishna, and serving Krishna, that's all. We hear about Krishna, we chant his holy name, we speak about Krishna to others, and we render devotional service. What does devotional service mean? Everything we do, we remember how it's connected to Krishna. That's devotional service. But that requires a little bit of guidance. Okay, we can stop there anyway. And
His Holiness Dayananda Swami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for that simple answer about devotional service. I was wondering what Maharaj is going to say when Mataji asked about devotional service. So Maharaj simply said chanting Hare Krishna. That is the essence of all the scriptures. Yes, so it is simple. It is simple, easy to miss it. Yes, because it is simple, it's easy to miss out. If you're chanting Hare Krishna mantra on daily basis, carry on chanting. Just carry on. If you're not, you may begin chanting from today. Hare Krishna. Anybody who would like to begin chanting from today, please raise your hand. Let's see. That means you're already all chanting. Everybody is already chanting. Hare Krishna. Okay, couple of very quick announcements. Anybody coming for the first time or coming after a long time, just raise your hand and you may tell your name and what brought you here today. Hare Krishna, please. Second time, last Sunday you are here. And what's your name? Sachin Gaikwad. Welcome, Prabhu. Welcome. And yourself? Mahesh and Raghaveni. First time you're coming. Thank you very much. Welcome. Anybody else? First time. Shaina. Welcome. Welcome. Second time. Yes, I met you before. Again, welcome back. Thank you very much. So really appreciate for being with us today. We have Sunday program every Sunday starting from 12:30 onwards. It's a standard program that we begin with Arati, and then there is a discourse on Bhagavad Gita and ecstatic kirtan and a sumptuous feast at the end. And you'll have loving friends all around you here. So please do come every Sunday. And if you want to come and do any service, let me or my best friend Dinbandhu Prabhu, you can approach him because everybody likes to do something in person, isn't it? You know, you feel part of it when you do some service. So if you want to be really part of this wonderful family, just, please come and see us. We are happy to assist you. Coming Saturday and Sunday, we have Birmingham 24-hour Kirtan, non-stop Hare Krishna mantra devotional service. Maharaj was mentioning about Hare Krishna. So non-stop 24 hours Hare Krishna Mahamantra singing. And there will be Kirtaniya singers from all around the world will be assembled there. So anybody going? Dinbandhu Prabhu, few of you. Yes. And our Dinbandhu Prabhu is trying to lead a service there. You see, we're talking about service. So Dinbandhu Prabhu is ready to offer some service there so that he can become part of their family. On Saturday, we are planning to serve lunch prasadam. So we have taken the service of serving prasadam on Saturday, lunch prasadam. So please, if you want to be part of it, the person you need to see is Dinbandhu Prabhu. Anyone would like to be part of it? Shailesh Prabhu, Sanjay Prabhu, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Okay. Oh, you are? Hari.
Great. And Shiv Prabhu.
Of course.
Mataji, will you be there for serving prasadam?
Saturday.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 3.
Sanjay Prabhu is here. Sanjay is there. And yourself?
10, 11. And
Sarvagna Krishna as well. And his family. So we have a good number. Thank you so much, everyone, for that. Yeah. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. You will love it. It will be on Saturday and Sunday. If you're unable to join, you can join on Sunday. But we are not serving prasadam that day. Somebody else will be doing it. But Saturday, ISKCON Manchester will be serving prasadam. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And by the way, we still open on Sunday. Some devotees will be going to Birmingham for the 24-hour Kirtan, but this temple will be still open for you. If you are not going, you can come and attend the program here. So today we have Ishta Goshti for regular and initiated devotees. We will meet up upstairs in the library after prasadam at around 3:45. We will just give you what we have been doing so far and what are the future events that are coming up. And we would also like to take any questions if anyone has. So please stay and do attend if you are a regular devotee or initiated devotee at 3:45 in the library. Yeah. And what else we have? Yes, Janmashtami is a big festival for all of us. Krishna Janmashtami. This year it will be on the 19th August, which is a Friday. And the venue has been confirmed as Jain Samaj. We can, yeah. So very large venue. So for that, in preparation for Janmashtami, we will be having a service heads meeting. So service allocation meeting on Sunday 17th, not coming Sunday because most of the devotees will be traveling to Birmingham, but a week after. So that's July 17th, Sunday, we will have a service allocation meeting. If you want to be part of Krishna's family, please do attend that meeting. Take up a little service, whatever little you want to serve on Krishna's birthday. There will be number of services available. We will be discussing in detail. That is Sunday, 7th July, 17th July, after Prasadam in the library. So as Maharaj mentioned that not only we grow spiritually, we benefit, but sharing is caring. So if anybody wants to do book distribution, you are more than welcome. Every Sunday, a couple of devotees are going to city center. They're putting a book table there and distributing some books. If you want to be part of it, just let me know. Then I will direct to the appropriate channel. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. So now have standing kirtan. I think His Holiness Dayananda Swami Maharaj leading it. But let me go and find out what's happening. I'll be back shortly. Hare Krishna.
So those who are volunteering for Birmingham Prasadam survey, if you can meet me at 12 o'clock in Birmingham, it's in Balaji Temple. So if you meet me there, then that we can go and organize this. I'll take bus.
No.
Initially, you can just chant Krishna, Hare Krishna,
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नमिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा
कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Na Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, loudly, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare. Together, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare जय राधा गोकुल नंद राधा गोकुल नंद राधे राधा गोकुल जय पंच तत्व जय पंच तत्व जय पंच तत्व जय पंच तत्व निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल ओ निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल 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 ओ हरि बोल 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद ओ जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 ओ प्रभुपाद 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 जय गौर प्रेमानंदे जय जय श्री राधे श्याम
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परम परजचार्य स्तोत्र सत His Divine Geshe S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परम परजचार्य स्तोत्र सत His Divine Geshe Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada की अनंत कोटि वैष्णविंद की नामचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्त विंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्यामकुंड राधाकुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की श्री नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा मई की यमुना मई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की सामवेद भक्त विंद की पंचतत्व की श्री श्री गौरनिताय की श्री श्री राधा गोकुलानंद की all glories to Simul devotees, all glories to Simul devotees, all glories to Simul devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki. महाप्रसादे गोविंदे नाम ब्राह्मणे वैष्णवे सर्प पुण्यवतम राजन विश्वासो न विजायते शरीरार विदजाल जयेन्द्रियताय काल जीवे फ्ले विषाय सागरे धर्मते जीवायति लोभ माय सुधर्मते तकिजता कठिन संसारे कृष्ण बरोदय माय करी बार जीव जाय स्वाप्रसादन निलोभाय सयना मृत पाओ राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ प्रेमणे कहो श्री चैतन्यताय माय जैनताय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासड़ी गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Gokulanand Pachatattva Prasadam ki Gaur Premanande. Prasadam is served outside?
Just once again, quick reminder that we will be having Ishta Goshti after Prasadam at around 3:45. We'll be meeting in the library upstairs. It is for regular and initiated devotees. Ishta Goshti. So we will be just briefing up what we have been doing and what we're going to do, and we will take any questions anybody has. It's for regular and initiated devotees. Hare Krishna. See you all there. Hare Krishna. Virtually, you, me, Ananda, and Madhav, 4 of us are in there because I also know the costume. It becomes easy.